After an attempt to stop global warming via climate engineering catastrophically backfires, creating a new ice age in 2014, the remnants of humanity have taken to a circumnavigational train, the Snowpiercer, run by reclusive transportation magnate Wilford. The passengers on the train are segregated, with the elite in the extravagant front cars and the poor in squalid tail compartments controlled by armed guards. Urged by his father figure Gilliam, Curtis, and his second-in-command Edgar lead the tail passengers in a revolt after they realize the guards' weapons have no ammunition. They free Namgung, a captive security specialist, who insists that his clairvoyant daughter Yona is freed as well. Namgung helps the tail army progress forward, but they soon end up in a standoff with guards with axes, overseen by Minister Mason. In the ensuing fight, Curtis has to choose between saving Edgar or capturing Mason. Curtis makes a difficult call to capture Mason in order to use her as a bargaining chip to end the battle, and Edgar is fatally stabbed. The tail army stays back, holding the guards captive, while Curtis takes Mason, Namgung, Yona, skilled fighter Gray, and Tanya, and Andrew, two parents who have had their children taken from them, toward the front of the train. They are unaware that Franco, loyal to Mason, escapes the tail army to rally more guards. Curtis's group travels through the first of several opulent cars. Namgung and Yona recognize a landmark outside and consider that the ice may be thawing. They eventually reach a schoolroom, where a teacher is indoctrinating the children on Wilford's greatness, just before they open eggs to celebrate the 18th New Year, each of which has marked one circumnavigation of the Earth. The teacher uses this as a distraction to attack and kill Andrew before Gray kills her. In the tail section, Franco uses the distraction to kill the tail army and capture Gilliam. Franco sends a live feed to the television in the classroom as he executes Gilliam. Curtis, in return, kills Mason. Curtis's group moves on, but Franco soon catches up to them. Tanya and Gray are killed after fighting Franco, who is then seemingly killed by Curtis and Namgung. The two along with Yona continue onward. They reach the last car before the engine. Namgung reveals he and Yona had been collecting chronol, an addictive drug but also a potent explosive, which he wants to use to blow the door to the outside, believing they can survive. Curtis stops them, as he wants to meet Wilford. Curtis explains that in the early days of the train, 17 years before, the tail section had resorted to cannibalism, and he had been nearly ready to eat the infant Edgar, but Gilliam offered him his arm instead. Curtis wants to face Wilford to ask why he created this closed ecosystem. Just then, the engine door opens, and Wilford's assistant Claude emerges and wounds Namgung before inviting Curtis inside. Curtis meets Wilford, and to his shock learns he and Gilliam conspired to stage Curtis's rebellion to reduce the train's population to sustainable levels. Wilford orders 74% of the tail passengers killed. He then offers Curtis his position leading the train. Curtis appears ready to accept when Yona overpowers Claude, rushes in, and pulls open a floorboard to reveal children from the tail section, including Andrew and Tanya's children Andy and Timmy, working the engine as slaves. Appalled, Curtis knocks out Wilford and rescues Timmy from the machinery, though he loses his arm in the process. Curtis gives Yona matches to light the fuse for the chronol, while Namgung fights and kills Franco, who had followed them. As the door to the engine room will not close, Curtis and Namgung use their bodies to protect Yona and Timmy from the blast. The explosion causes an avalanche that derails the train. Shortly after, Yona and Timmy escape the wreckage. They see a polar bear in the distance, indicating that life exists outside the train.